It is that time. It is time for our recruiting report with Otis Kirk, our recruiting insider. He joins us as always over the phone. And Otis, let's start things off with Devin Manuel. He is one of the newest commitments for Arkansas, the third O-line commit for the 21 class.
Yeah, Terry. The thing about Devin is he's so big. I mean, he's like 6'8", 300, and you can't coach 6'8". You can coach a lot of things, but you just can't coach a kid to be 6'8". God gifted him with that side, and Devin is he's someone that they chose Arkansas over Michigan State, Houston, and several other colleges, but he's probably his best football's ahead of him, and I say that in the sense that I think he's going to get a lot of coaching from Coach Davis and Coach Pittman that is really going to help him maintain moving forward in his career. And I think that's why they're attracting offensive line kids, players, because they have a reputation, both Coach Davis and Coach Pittman, for developing offensive linemen. So these kids like that idea, and they've gotten three. They were the first SEC offer for Cole Carson. They were the first SEC offer for, for Devin. And I don't remember if they were the first for Terry, but my point is they're offering these kids, identifying them early, and then later schools like Miami came in on Terry. Other schools came in. A lot of schools came in on Devin after Arkansas offered him, and several schools came in. A lot of schools came in on Cole Carson. We've talked about that before. He went from four offers to 22 after Arkansas offered him. And so that's kind of what they do. They identify, they know what they want in an offensive lineman, and they go get him. And they feel like if he's got a shortcoming or two, they can improve that. But they've got three good ones, and Devin is just adding to that. But like I said, the biggest thing about Devin, he's 6'8", and God gifted him. You can't coach 6'8". They're either they're 6'8" or they're not, and then most of them aren't. But he is, and he's improving his footwork. That was when I first saw him. That was my main concern, was the fact that he looked a little slow. But then you got to understand, there's a 6'8", 300-pound kid in the 11th grade going against smaller kids, and that's what makes recruiting offensive. That's what makes evaluating offensive linemen so hard. Is the bigger kids look slow because they're all going against smaller kids. There's not in college he will go against kids his size or bigger kids, and so you've got to really kind of be careful evaluating offensive linemen, because if you don't, you'll think, well, that guy looks slow, but really he's not. It's just that the guy's going against 150 pounds, and if he locks onto him, he's going to kill him, and if he doesn't, and that's what he's supposed to do, and if he doesn't, then, the guy looks slow because the little guy got around him. But Devin's going to be a good player for him.
Well, what about Ricardo Holman? He is a four-star corner out of Florida. You talked with him earlier this week. What'd you hear?
Yeah, he's a nice kid, real nice kid. He is, he's a good cornerback too. I mean, he's got Arkansas, Wisconsin, Iowa State, and Penn State as his top four, and that's not in any certain order. But here's the deal. He's got a lot of offers. I think he's going to come down to Arkansas or Wisconsin. And right now, if I had to say today, if Sarah asked me who's he going to sign with, I'd say Wisconsin. And that's just a gut feeling from talking to him. He didn't tell me that, and didn't really indicate that. We didn't indicate that. It's just a gut feeling. When you talk to kids, you learn to kind of develop gut feelings. And when I asked him who his top four was, he said Wisconsin, Arkansas, Penn State, and Iowa State. But it wasn't in any certain order. But he did mention Wisconsin first, and it's just, I don't know. Just when he talked about Wisconsin, his voice lit up a little bit more. But I do think this. Here's what I think: if Arkansas can get this kid on campus, and he says he's going to visit. He says he's going to take a visit here when this virus, all the travel gets safe, and they take off that restriction where they can't do on-campus recruiting and bring kids in for visit. He told me he's going to take a visit. If he takes a visit here, I think Arkansas's got an excellent chance at him. I think that will improve their chances. They did a really good virtual visit with him, Tara. Here's what they did. The Pittman, Sam Carter, and Barry Odom all talked to him on the deal. Then they gave him to the academic advisors. Then they gave him to Jamil Walker. And they also, some other people talked to him, some other at U of A. So it was a really thorough – he talked about how thorough Arkansas was with their virtual visit. He's taken some to other schools. He's talking about how thorough Arkansas and how down to earth, and they, Sam Pittman and Coach Carter, Coach Odom all came across as being very honest, straightforward, and just comfortable. He's comfortable with them, and that's why I think if he visits here, I think Arkansas will move up tremendously.
Well, that's always good. And Otis, Dax Courtney, he is a tight end out of the 2022 class. Arkansas has offered him, but he's got other offers as well from places like Baylor and TCU.
Yeah, he's up to 9 offers now, unless he's got one offered since Arkansas. But here's the deal with Dax: is I know his dad, Mark, used to be the coach at Dumas, coach Will Gregg and some other kids. But Dax has grown up around football. We talked about him a few weeks ago on this show, and I said, I bet you Arkansas offers him, and they did. That was pretty much a no-brainer to offer kids 6'6", 210, can dunk a basketball. Going into the 11th grade, he's 2022. He's a little bit different than the other kids we're talking about on the show today because he is a 2022 kid. He's got 2 more years of high school football. I have to stop and think on this stuff. It gets confusing when you've got 20, 21, 22, 23. But now he's got 2 more years of high school football, and he's very athletic. When he sent out his highlights in football, he got some attention. But when they sent out that basketball video, they sent out some basketball videos of him to colleges and showing out with how much ease he dunks a basketball. You'd be surprised at how much attention that got him, started getting him offers in football. That's when the offers really started pouring in, when they saw what he could do with the basketball in his hand. So here's a kid that's grown up around football. He knows the game, and he will block. He's very physical. That's what's going to separate him from a lot of other kids, because so many times nowadays the tight end is not used to blocking. This kid is. He will punish you. He's big enough to do it, and he's going to get stronger, and he's going to get bigger, and works his rear off. And he's from a good family, just a good kid, and Arkansas is going to get him. I don't know when. I will be beyond shocked if Arkansas doesn't get him. And, he told me he's going to take his time before he commits, but I think eventually at some point, whether it's months, year from now or whatever, Arkansas, I think, will get him, and they're getting a dandy if they do get him. But, whoever gets Dax Courtney is getting a very good football player, a smart kid that knows football, because, like I said, his dad's been a coach, and he's been around every year of his life. This kid's grown up with football in his mind, and, so he's one to watch. 6 kids in the class of 2022 in Arkansas to get an offer. It won't be the last. That is we need to do a show sometime just on that 2022 class. That's a very strong class. It's got big kids, fast kids. It's got a little bit of everything in it. It's going to be a really good class for Sam and his staff.
Hey, Otis, that's not a bad idea. We might have to put together a special on that 2022 class. But back to the 21 class, it seems like Sam Pittman is picking up a new commitment every single week, just left and right here. But who do you think the next name will be for Arkansas?
Okay. Well, I've kind of cheated, because when I've been on here every Sunday for the last few weeks, I've known these kids. I predicted these kids were going to commit, and they did. But it wasn't that necessarily they had told me they were going to. It's just that it was pretty much a given that they were going to. I don't think right now I've got a name for you that I think could surprise some people, and it's a name that really hasn't been out there much, is Martez Thrower. He's a linebacker from Rochelle, Wilcox County down in Georgia, and he's 6'1", 200, something like that. Not huge, but he's going to get bigger. But he can really run. In Arkansas, Michigan State, Minnesota, Mississippi State, Nebraska. I mean, he's got a ton of all these kids we talk about here basically have a long list of offers. But I think Arkansas did a virtual visit with him this week, and I think they've got a good shot at him. And it would surprise me. They've got one linebacker committed, and it would surprise me if they pull this kid in. Now, will he be the next? Possibly, but I like Drayden Norwood at Northside, a cornerback that I think could jump on board with the Hogs. I think A&M didn't make his top 5, but I think they're in the mix. Texas A&M, he did a virtual visit with them, and that really helped them. Aaron Outley, the tight end at Little Rock Parkview, I think is a must-get. Arkansas needs tight ends, and you've got him over there. And then also, we've got to talk about Keytron Jackson, who's gone from 14 offers down. I mean, going from 20-something offers down to 14, top 14, down to a top 7. And I think if he doesn't stay in Texas, and I don't think he will, but if he doesn't stay in Texas, Arkansas will get Keytron Jackson from Royce City, the wide receiver. And, I think it's Arkansas, A&M, TCU, Texas, some of the schools. But, I really think if he leaves the state of Texas, I think Arkansas gets him.
All right, Otis Kirk, thank you so much for your time as always. That is going to do it for our recruiting report.
Thanks for having me on. Bye.